Well, I do have on my Moldavite. That's about it. That's I just have a little small chip. Moldavite is a little pricey, but yeah, that's the only thing I'm wearing today because I just been doing a lot of cleaning up. Hey everybody, I'm back and I love that. Oh my gosh. You know how it's holiday time and there are certain scents around the house? I have cinnamon oil in my diffuser right now, and oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You have no idea how much life this is giving me. That's one of my favorite things about Christmas is the way there were different things that happened as we prepared for it. I remember doing all this cleaning. Mama was, oh my gosh, my mom. Cleaning was a must. And which is pretty much in every home, but it was the way we had to clean. And so, but yeah, we had different scents. We didn't have a diffuser, but at one point she had a humidifier slash dehumidifier because we would have bronchitis a lot growing up. So she would have it was a machine that was both. And so with the humidifier, um, she would sometimes put a little oil or whatever in it, like eucalyptus or something like that, and you could smell it all over the house. One time she used it, and at this point we were older, we were like teens, and we didn't really need it. So she put cinnamon in it, and oh my gosh, it smelled so good. Yes, it did. It smelled really, really good. But I'm not doing much today. Well, I did do a lot today. I cleaned today, so that's why I have on my old nursing scrubs that I really can't fit anymore. I didn't even wear any jewelry. Well, this moldavite, but yeah, that's about it. But yeah, cleaning was a must. All the cleaning that we went through, all of the cleaning, and as I listened to the elders in my family, they taught us the importance of so many different things. Cleaning was one of them. How it was passed down that cleaning was kind of like feng shui is to a lot of Asians. It shifted the energy in your room and the way we were to clean. If you had upstairs and downstairs, we cleaned from top to bottom and then from back to front. And if you didn't have an upstairs and downstairs, we just cleaned from back to front. That was the way we were taught to clean. That's how you do that. And the thought process behind it, or the philosophy behind it, was you're sweeping out or cleaning out old, dead, stale energy to make room for what you need to manifest what you need. Um, they didn't burn candles and all of that stuff to get that done. They just did a cleaning process and then they did a prayer. Everybody would take a bath first. They would do the cleaning process, number one. Then, let me back it up. The first thing they did was decide, hey, I need such and such and such, so I need to clean. That was number one. Number two was they cleaned. Number three was after the cleaning, you took your bath. Number four was you got together and we prayed about whatever it was that we needed for the house. And then the fifth thing we did, we carried on life as if that thing had already manifested. And you taught your children how to do it. I grew up in the 70s. I got here 69, the end of the 60s. So I grew up most of the 70s, and that's just the way our home worked. I remember doing all of that, and it's still a part of my being today to do things that way. That's how we manifested things that we needed, and we didn't have to do a whole lot of stuff. It was just that particular system, it worked, and it still works today, because I still do that. It works. When I say it works, it works. But just like with anything else, you have to have belief in it for it to work. If you don't, if you're doing it just to see if it worked, it may or may not work for you. You have to actually believe in it. So that's a memory that I have about cleaning. Before we even decorated, we had to do all of that, and everybody would agree on what it is that we wanted as a family unit for Christmas, for the family, for the house. And then we would decorate. And then we would start our cooking. We would start cooking early. There were certain things that we did ahead of time, like the hermit cakes. Mama would do, she would have all types of orders for hermit cakes and orange slice cakes, and she did fruit cakes too. We weren't really too into it, but she had orders for fruit cakes and what do you call it? Hermit cakes. Oh my goodness. People loved her hermit cakes and homemade sweet potato pies and stuff like that. And she would work on that for a while, and people would take them and stick them in the freezer until it was time for the celebratory meal to begin. They would, the night before, they would take it out and just let it thaw. But I remember doing that. And then for our own selves, we would start cooking certain things a few days early, like, you know, your potato salad, your coleslaw, your deviled eggs. Those are things you can do 2 to 3 days early. Sometimes we would go ahead and the day before, we would go ahead and have like your fresh greens, whatever fresh vegetables you wanted, your side dishes like your mac and cheese, your rice puddings, all of that, bread pudding, sweet potato pudding, or tater pudding. We just call it tater pudding down south, but when you explain it to people up north and out west, you have to say sweet potato pudding. But yeah, we would do those things, and then you actually would start one of your meats, the meat that we started early. We would do the ham a full day before. That way it was cooked. That way all you had to do was just heat it up lightly. But if we did a whole turkey for, I was going to say Thanksgiving, no, for Christmas. Thanksgiving, we did Cornish game hen because we were kind of tired of turkey by the time Christmas rolled around. So, and Mama was too. So what we started doing is our new tradition. We would have Cornish game hen on Thanksgiving. Christmas, we would have turkey, and we would have a really big turkey because we enjoyed turkey sandwiches, and when Mama would make turkey hash afterwards, oh my gosh, her turkey hash was the bomb. You couldn't get any better than that. You really couldn't. Sometimes we would chop up the turkey and make a turkey salad. You know, just different things, different ways to eat turkey so you didn't get tired of it. But yeah, we did all that, and the turkey would cook during the night when we would go to bed Christmas night. And then at midnight, we would open up one present, just one, because in that morning, we would get dressed and we would leave Mama and go to my dad and my stepmom's, and we would be over there for Christmas breakfast because that's a tradition that he started with us years prior when we were real little, because they divorced when I was 8. We left him when I was 7, and I was 8 when they finalized the divorce. And so he created this new tradition as a way of always being able to see us on Christmas. So we would eat breakfast with him and his parents, and then we would be back home in time enough to have dinner with our family, with my mom, our other family with my mom. And we enjoyed that. We really enjoyed, because that gave us time to spend with both parents instead of earlier. What happened was the way the court did our visitations, Daddy got us every other weekend, 2 weekends out of the summer, 2 full weeks out the summer, and then they would flip flop Christmas and Thanksgiving. But as we got to be teenagers, it's like, well, they're growing up and, we don't know which way they're going with their life. So my dad and my stepmom, they wanted time with us too. So my sisters and I, we really, really enjoyed the Christmas breakfasts. We would get up, he would get us up at 6, and we would all meet in the den, and everybody would get on their knees and say a prayer. My dad would lead it. I told you we come from a long line of preachers and teachers and stuff like that. And it was a tradition, and we had to be thankful and grateful for the day. And we had to be thankful and grateful for one another. We actually had to say something positive about one another. That I really love. That is such a great tradition. Saying something positive about each other after the prayer. That's what we did. We would get up and we would say why we love one another. Everybody would say something nice to the other person. Then we had to say something nice about ourselves and what we were grateful for and what our gifts were. And if it was something new that we recognized about ourselves, we would be grateful for that. And we would say what we intended to do with that thing that we said we discovered within ourselves, and how we wanted to develop it and how we could get it to grow. And if we didn't know what to do with it, we would ask, I would like for you all to help me with this. I don't know what to do with this. This is something I discovered that I really liked, and I just don't know what to do with it. So we would all just think about what everybody said. We would get dressed, and then we would have our Christmas breakfast because other family members were coming for the breakfast. And that was I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. And we still do it today. My father he transitioned, hold on, I'm 54. So he's been gone 14 years. He transitioned a week after my birthday. So it'll be 15 years a week after my birthday next year. So anyway, yeah, that was a great tradition. One of the other traditions that we had that I really liked was after breakfast, all the uncles and aunts and cousins, Daddy would already have set up in the living room 2 or 3 card game tables because some spades was about to go down. And then he would get me to take the 2 pots of chili out because he made homemade chili. One pot was spicy, the other one very mild. And when I say spicy, yeah, you weren't about to walk out like this was easy peasy. No, but because that's how my daddy was. He was a chef. He and his father, they were professional chefs. But my dad was also a truck driver. But he always found a way to be home for Christmas, so he could see all of his girls. He had 4 of us. Yes. Oh my gosh. And I was the eldest, and we were very rambunctious. Remember in another video, I said that we were called SU babies. Yeah, we were very rambunctious. But anyway, everybody playing spades. The kids would get together and we would do our little thing, and they would teach us how to play spades. And sometimes we would have I Declare War. That's another card game you rarely hear people play anymore. We used to play I Declare War. Of course, Old Maid. And Go Fish. But I Declare War, that was a game I was extremely competitive with. And I'm very competitive by nature. But I Declare War, I was like the queen. Yes, I was. That was my favorite card game. Spades I could play it. It wasn't my favorite though. Um, it wasn't as competitive to me as I Declare War. It's just, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's a good memory. The last tradition I can say about spending Christmas with my parents after spending time with daddy and my stepmom and that side of the family, we would go back to mama's house, help her get all the food and everything up to grandma and granddaddy's house, her parents. And some of the cousins used to get dropped off a little early so the parents can finish tidying up the house a little bit and getting their things together. So when they would bring the food over, the children are already gone. They would make sure I was there first since I was the oldest and I could watch everybody. Oh my gosh. There would be there were 15 of us who lived in my town for a while. There were 3 of us who lived in Indiana. And then later on, I think I was in upper elementary, and then 4 more, they moved to DC. No, Maryland. It was Maryland. And Baltimore. So that was 7 of us living out of town. So yeah, that was 13 of us still here, plus some of the neighborhood's children who would come over, and some family members, some of their friends that they grew up with that were very close to the family. They would come by, drop their kids off, and they would, is Danny T downstairs? That would be me. If Danny T downstairs, all right, y'all going down there. And I was like, oh my God, more brats. Oh my God. So yeah, they were like, yay, Danny T. I'm like, okay. Because I was tired. I was tired. It's not that I didn't want to see them. I would be tired. I had fun, but I was tired. And then I had some that were very clingy because they needed that attention. They loved it. So I'm just holding and walking around with them in my arms like they're mine. And or either they're holding to my hands or whatever if I'm doing something. So yeah, I watched everybody's kids. I became the babysitter even while the house was full of adults. Yeah. But that was a great memory. It really was. It still was a great memory. I look back on a lot of these things. I'm so glad I'm doing this. This Vlogmas because it's reminding me of a lot of things that I've forgotten about. And it makes me smile and be grateful all over again of how my life went. Even with not so good things, I'm still grateful. I am. I'm grateful because there's always silver linings in everything. I don't care how bleak everything looked, there was still silver linings. And that's what I spent a lot of time looking for, silver linings. And because I was always looking for them, I always found them every time. There was never a time as a child where I wanted to give up. There was never a time where I just didn't want to be there anymore. I never went through that. I would be tired and I would be frustrated, which is to be expected. But I enjoyed my family. I enjoyed my life. I enjoy coming from a large family. I really do. And I appreciate it even more now that I am 54. I really, really, really enjoy coming from a large family. A lot of my classmates that I graduated high school with, some of them were older, were only children, and they long for brothers and sisters. That's the reason why they would always come to our house, because they did not have that. And they used to always say, I'm jealous because you have sisters to talk to or sisters to play with. I'm like, you can have them. Because they would get on my nerves because to me as a teen, or even just as an adolescent, they were needy. But that was predicated upon what we had been through as children, and that's what they needed, you know. So, yeah, great memories. Even being exposed to abuse, there were a lot of great memories that I can focus on even today. A lot of great memories.